What if being surrounded by people is actually one of the reasons you feel lonely? It sounds strange. Most of us think loneliness comes from being alone. So when we feel lonely, we try to spend more time with people. We join events. We answer messages. We sit with friends. Yet sometimes, after all that, we still go home with the same empty feeling. And that can be confusing. You start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? If I'm around people all day, why do I still feel disconnected? Why do I feel like nobody really sees me? The answer may be simpler than you think. And today, I want to explore why loneliness can exist even in a crowded room. Loneliness is not just about the number of people around you. It's about the quality of your connection with them. Many people spend their days talking, texting, and interacting. But real connection is different. Real connection happens when you feel understood. It happens when you can be yourself without fear. It happens when you feel emotionally close to another person. Imagine sitting at a dinner table with 5 friends. Everyone is laughing. Everyone is talking. But inside, you're thinking, if they knew how stressed I really am, I don't think I could tell them. In that moment, you are physically together but emotionally alone. And that kind of loneliness can hurt even more than being by yourself. The first insight is this: loneliness often comes from wearing a social mask. Most of us do this without realizing it. We show people the version of ourselves that feels safe. We talk about work. We talk about movies. We talk about things that don't feel risky. But we hide the deeper parts. We hide our fears, our disappointments, and sometimes even our dreams. A man I once heard about worked in a busy office with dozens of co-workers. Every day he joked with people and joined conversations. Everyone thought he was doing great. But after work, he felt deeply lonely. Later, he realized that nobody actually knew what was happening in his life. He had spent years protecting himself from vulnerability. The interesting thing is that the mask often protects us from rejection. But it also blocks connection. If nobody sees the real you, nobody can truly connect with the real you. The second insight is that modern communication can create the feeling of connection without the experience of connection. Think about how many interactions you have in a day. Notifications, messages, comments, likes. Your phone can make you feel socially busy from morning until night. But being socially busy is not the same as feeling emotionally connected. You might spend 2 hours scrolling through updates from hundreds of people and still feel alone afterward. Why? Because your brain is receiving information, but your heart is not receiving closeness. A simple example is the difference between sending 10 quick messages and having one honest conversation. One meaningful conversation can leave you feeling energized and understood. 10 shallow interactions often disappear from your memory within hours. Technology is amazing. It helps us stay in touch across countries and time zones. But sometimes it gives us the illusion that we are connected when what we really need is deeper human contact. The third insight is that loneliness can happen when you lose connection with yourself. This idea is often overlooked. Many people are so busy meeting expectations that they stop paying attention to what they truly feel. They work hard. They stay productive. They keep moving. But they rarely stop and ask themselves simple questions. What am I feeling right now? What do I need? What matters to me? When you become disconnected from yourself, it becomes harder to connect with others. Imagine trying to give someone directions when you don't know where you are. It's difficult. The same thing happens emotionally. I remember hearing about a woman who felt lonely for years. She thought she needed more friends. So she attended social events almost every weekend. She met lots of people, but the loneliness remained. Eventually, she realized she had been ignoring her own interests and values for a long time. She didn't know herself very well anymore. As she started reconnecting with things she genuinely loved, reading, hiking, and creative projects, something changed. She felt more comfortable being herself. And because of that, her relationships became deeper and more natural. Sometimes the path to connection with others begins with connection to yourself. So what can you do if this sounds familiar? Try one small experiment this week. Have one conversation that goes slightly deeper than usual. Not dramatically deeper. Just one step. Instead of asking, "How was your day?" ask, "What's been on your mind lately?" Instead of saying, "I'm fine," tell the truth in a simple way. Maybe say, "I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed recently," or "I've been thinking a lot about my future." You don't need to share your entire life story. The goal is not to reveal everything. The goal is to create a small moment of honesty. You may be surprised by what happens next. Often, when one person opens the door, the other person feels safe enough to do the same. Connection grows in those moments. Not through perfection. Not through performance. Through honesty. And if you don't have someone to talk to right now, start with yourself. Spend 10 quiet minutes without distractions. Write down what you're feeling. Listen to your own thoughts instead of running from them. Connection begins with attention. Here's something important to remember. Feeling lonely does not mean you are broken. It does not mean people don't care about you. And it certainly does not mean you will always feel this way. Sometimes loneliness is simply a signal. It's your mind and heart telling you that you need more meaningful connection, not more noise. So the next time you feel lonely in a room full of people, don't assume the answer is finding a bigger crowd. The answer may be finding one real conversation, one honest moment, or one deeper connection. And that possibility is closer than you think.